You fear that moment when everything simply fades away without a single goodbye. That chilling feeling of slowly losing yourself, your precious memories dissolving into a fog. Your once vibrant stories now just fragmented, whispers or worse. Do you dread becoming a burden one day? An invisible empty chair in your own home, with distant eyes that no longer recognize the faces you hold dearest. It's easy to fall into the common misconception that mental decline, memory loss, or a hollow sense of loneliness is an inevitable part of aging. People tell us old age is a waiting game for death, an unavoidable descent into decay. But what if I told you that's a lie? A lie that has been whispered from generation to generation, robbing millions of seniors worldwide of their hope and independence. Let's be honest with ourselves. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, worried about those trivial memory slips, or felt a gnawing loneliness, even when surrounded by loved ones? That's not just ordinary senior moments. Those are alarm bells your body and mind are ringing. And here's the brutal truth: much of the mental decline we witness in old age is not destiny. It's the consequence of silent thieves, habits, and lifestyles we unwittingly embrace, gradually eroding our cognitive abilities and our very joy of living day by day. But I have good news today. I'm going to reveal secrets few will tell you. Secret weapons that can not only prevent but often reverse significant cognitive decline, keeping your mind razor sharp and your spirit as vibrant as the sunrise, regardless of your age. You won't just learn how to protect your memory. You'll discover a renewed sense of purpose, a zest for life you thought was lost. Listen closely, because what you're about to hear can completely transform how you experience your later years. Together, we'll seek the answer to this question: how can you live a full, independent, and joyful life right until your very last days? Be honest with yourself. Do you feel stressed, often stressed about unpaid bills, about a mischievous grandchild, about your own health concerns or those of loved ones, or simply the pressure of not knowing what to do with your free time now that you're retired? Most of us view stress as an unavoidable part of life, something normal. But what if I told you that this persistent feeling of stress, this invisible burden you carry on your shoulders every single day, is a silent thief, slowly, piece by piece, gnawing away at your memory, your clarity of thought, and even your very joy of living? You see, when you're stressed, your body produces a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol acts like an emergency firefighter for your body. It helps you deal with acute, dangerous situations. For example, when you need to run away from an aggressive dog, cortisol helps you. But the problem is, in our modern lives, that aggressive dog is no longer a clear physical threat. It can be negative news on TV, a minor argument with a family member, or just a vague anxiety about the future. And your body, even without a real threat, continues to pump out cortisol. Imagine your brain as a lush garden where memories and thoughts blossom. In that garden, there's a particularly crucial area called the hippocampus. This hippocampus acts like the gatekeeper of memory, where new memories are formed and organized. It is the very heart of your ability to learn and recall. When cortisol is continuously pumped into your system, it's like pouring a toxic weed killer onto that garden, especially targeting the hippocampus. Scientific studies have shown that chronic stress and prolonged high levels of cortisol can actually cause the hippocampus to shrink. Think about that. The very part of your brain responsible for your memory is literally shriveling. That's why you might start finding it harder to remember names, directions, or recent conversations. This isn't a normal part of aging. It's a direct consequence of allowing stress to rein in your life for too long. I remember a conversation I once had with Mr. David, a 72-year-old gentleman. Mr. David used to be a brilliant engineer with a sharp mind, capable of remembering hundreds of blueprints and complex formulas. But ever since his retirement, he began to feel a loss of purpose. He spent his days watching TV, reading newspapers, and worrying about trivial matters. Gradually, Mr. David started forgetting important appointments, couldn't remember where he put his keys, and even forgot the names of longtime friends. His wife often had to remind him about things he had just said or done. He became irritable, quick to anger, and frequently lamented that my mind isn't as sharp as it used to be. Mr. David thought these were early signs of Alzheimer's. But as we delved deeper It turned out that the root cause of his memory decline was chronic stress. He was constantly worried about finances, about having nothing to do, about the sudden changes in his retired life. This incessant worry consistently elevated his cortisol levels, and gradually, it gnawed away at his memory function. Mr. David's story is not an isolated case. Millions of older adults are facing similar situations. They accept memory decline as fate, while the underlying cause lies with the silent thief stress. So, how do we fight this invisible enemy? Fortunately, you don't need to join a complex meditation, retreat, or abandon all your responsibilities to live in a mountain monastery. There are practical, easy-to-implement solutions you can start right now to calm your mind and protect your brain from the onslaught of cortisol. Firstly, practice deep breathing. It sounds simple, but your breath is a powerful tool. When you breathe deeply and slowly from your diaphragm, you activate your parasympathetic nervous system. That's your body's rest and digest system. It's like a switch that turns off the fight or flight mode that stress has activated. Just dedicate 5 to 10 minutes each day to sit quietly. Close your eyes and focus on your breath. Inhale slowly through your nose, counting to 4. Hold your breath, counting to 7. Exhale slowly through your mouth, counting to 8. Repeat this exercise 5-10 times. You will feel an immediate difference. Feel the peace spreading, the tension dissolving, and your brain as if letting out a sigh of relief. Secondly, seek out nature. There's a reason why we feel peaceful when walking in a park, gazing at trees, or listening to birdsong. Nature has incredible healing power. Even a short walk around your neighborhood, or sitting under a tree in your garden, helps reduce cortisol levels, lower blood pressure, and improve mood. Scientists have shown that via spending time in forest bathing, Shinrin-yoku in Japan, can significantly decrease stress hormones and boost immune system activity. Don't underestimate the power of a warm sunbeam or a gentle breeze on your skin. Make spending time outdoors a daily habit. This is not just physical exercise, it's a natural tranquilizer for your mind. Thirdly, meditation isn't as complicated as you think. You don't need to sit cross-legged or chant. Meditation is simply the act of focusing your attention on a single point. It could be your breath, a sound, or a bodily sensation. Use free meditation apps on your smartphone, or simply find a quiet place, close your eyes, and listen to your body. This helps you disconnect from incessant, worrying thoughts, bringing you back to the present moment. When you practice meditation, you are training your brain to be less reactive to stress, building a protective shield for that precious hippocampus. Remember, this stress is not destiny. You have the power to control it. By minimizing the impact of stress on your brain, you not only protect your memory, but also open the door to a more serene and joyful life. This is the first step to reclaiming control of your mind and spirit. But it's not just stress. Isolation is also silently destroying your brain's connections in ways you might not expect. It's creating a desert in your mind, and finding the life-giving water is utterly crucial. We've just explored how chronic stress, that silent, insidious burden, can literally shrink the memory centers of your brain. But now, let's talk about another hidden predator, one that often accompanies stress, or even arises from its absence: loneliness. This isn't just about being alone, it's the profound, aching feeling of disconnection, of being unseen, unheard, a solitary island adrift in a vast ocean. And here's the stark truth: loneliness is a hiker. Brain killer. It's not merely a sad emotion, it's a physical threat, a desolate wind that can turn the vibrant garden of your mind into a parched desert. Think about it. Have you ever had those quiet days that stretch into weeks, where the only voices you hear are from the television? Or perhaps the occasional robotic voice of a telemarketer, days where you simply sit alone, looking out the window, watching the world pass by, feeling less and less a part of it. Your phone sits silent, your calendar is empty, and the once bustling home now echoes with quiet. Perhaps your children have grown and moved far away. Your beloved partner has passed, or your friends are no longer able to get out and socialize as they once did. In these moments, that feeling of isolation can creep in, a cold, heavy blanket that smothers your spirit. This isn't just about sadness, it's about the atrophy of your brain's social muscles, essential connections that crave engagement and interaction. From a scientific perspective, the brain thrives on novelty, stimulation, and interaction. Each conversation, each shared laugh, each problem-solving session with another person sends a cascade of signals through your neural networks, forging new pathways and strengthening existing ones. It's like a daily workout for your brain, keeping it agile and resilient. When these interactions cease or become minimal, your brain begins to lose that crucial stimulation. It's akin to a complex machine that's left idle. For too long, its parts begin to seize up and its functions diminish. Research has unequivocally linked chronic loneliness and social isolation to an increased risk of cognitive decline, dementia, and even Alzheimer's disease. Studies show that individuals who report feeling lonely have a higher likelihood of developing memory problems later in life. Why? Because the brain, when deprived of social connection, enters a state of heightened alert. Similar to chronic stress, it perceives loneliness as a threat, triggering an inflammatory response throughout the body, including the brain. This chronic inflammation damages brain cells and pathways, impeding their ability to communicate effectively. Moreover, social interaction provides a critical cognitive reserve, a buffer that helps your brain cope with age-related changes. Without this constant stimulation, your brain's reserve dwindles, leaving it more vulnerable to decline. I recall a conversation with Mrs. Eleanor, a woman who, at 80, lived alone after her husband passed away and her children moved overseas. Mrs. Eleanor had always been a vibrant, social butterfly, a pillar of her community. But after a few years of living in isolation, her children noticed a change. She became forgetful, often repeating herself, and seemed to lose her spark. She dismissed it as just getting old. But deep down, her days were filled with a profound emptiness. She'd wake up, make herself tea, sit by the window, and that was often the extent of her meaningful interaction for the day. Her world, once expansive, had shrunk to the four walls of her home. Her brain, deprived of the rich tapestry of social engagement, was slowly, silently suffering. This wasn't a sudden onset of disease. It was the cumulative effect of a life devoid of significant human connection, slowly eroding her cognitive vitality. But the beautiful truth is, this decline is often reversible, or at least significantly slowed. By simply re-engaging with the world, you have the power to infuse your life with the vibrant energy of connection once more, to water that parched desert in your mind and watch it bloom again. So, how do we rebuild these vital connections? How do we find that life-giving water for our minds first? Don't wait for an invitation, be the initiator. It can feel daunting, especially if you've been isolated for a while. Shyness or the fear of rejection might hold you back. But remember, most people crave genuine connection. Start small. Pick up the phone and call a family member you haven't spoken to in a while. Send a thoughtful text to an old friend. If you have grandchildren, offer to read them a story over video call. Even a simple, "How are you doing today?" to a neighbor can be the first drop of water in your desert. The key is consistency. A weekly phone call, a monthly lunch. These small, consistent efforts build bridges back to the world. Secondly, explore joining groups or clubs that align with your interests. This is where your passions become your social currency. Do you love reading? Join a book club at your local library or community center. Are you passionate about gardening? Look for a local gardening group or community garden. Do you enjoy puzzles or board games? And senior centers host regular game nights. The beauty of these groups is that they provide a ready-made structure for interaction and shared purpose. You're not just showing up to socialize. You're showing up to pursue something you love, and the social connection naturally follows. This gives you a reason to get out, a routine, and a sense of belonging. Imagine the joy of discussing your favorite novel with fellow enthusiasts, or sharing tips on growing the perfect rose. These are the enriching experiences that stimulate your mind and nourish your spirit. Thirdly, consider the immense power of volunteering. Giving back to your community is a win-win situation. It not only benefits others, but also provides you with a profound sense of purpose, of value, and, critically, opportunities for social interaction. Whether it's helping out at a local food bank, reading to children at a school, assisting at a hospital, or simply walking dogs at an animal shelter, volunteering connects you with people who share a common goal. It takes your focus off your own anxieties and redirects it outwards, fostering a sense of contribution. Think of the fulfillment you'll feel knowing you've made a difference, and the natural conversations that arise from working alongside others. This is a powerful antidote to loneliness, igniting a spark of vitality within you. Fourthly, embrace intergenerational connections. Our society often segregates age groups, but there's incredible richness in connecting with younger generations. If you have grandchildren, dedicate time to them. Teach them a skill, tell them stories from your life, or simply listen to theirs. Their youthful energy and fresh perspectives can be incredibly stimulating for your mind. If you don't have grandchildren nearby, consider mentoring programs, or simply striking up conversations with younger people in your community. Offer your wisdom, share your experiences, and be open to learning from them. This exchange is mutually beneficial, keeping your mind active and your spirit young. Fifthly, cultivate a social readiness mindset. This means being open to social opportunities, wherever you find them. A friendly nod and a smile to the barista at your coffee shop, a brief chat with the person next to you in the grocery line, or a pleasant word with your mail carrier. These seemingly small interactions add up. They break the cycle of isolation and remind your brain that the world is full of potential connections. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Finally, don't underestimate the comfort and routine a pet can bring. While not a human connection, caring for a dog or a cat can significantly alleviate feelings of loneliness. A pet provides companionship, unconditional love, and a daily routine that gets you up and moving. Walking a dog, for example, often leads to chance encounters and conversations with other pet owners, opening doors to new social circles. The responsibility of caring for another living being can also instill a renewed sense of purpose and structure in your day. Remember, this connection is not a luxury, it's a biological imperative for a healthy brain and a healthy, vibrant spirit. You are not meant to navigate life's later chapters alone. Reaching out, even with small steps, can create ripples of positive change, transforming your lonely desert into a thriving oasis of shared experiences and renewed mental vitality. This is your powerful tool to fight back against cognitive decline. But life isn't just about having people around. It's also about finding a purpose, a profound why that fuels your days, ignites a fire within you, and gives meaning to every waking moment, especially as you age. Without this fire, even the most connected life can feel empty. We've talked about stress, that silent thief that gnaws at your memories. We've discussed loneliness, the desolate wind that can turn your vibrant mind into a parched desert. But what if I told you there's another, equally crucial element missing from many lives? A profound why that fuels your days, ignites a fire within you, and gives meaning to every waking moment, especially as you age without this inner fire. The sense of purpose. Even the most socially connected life can feel empty, stagnant, and ironically, contribute to a quiet, insidious decline of your mental sharpness and your spirit's very vitality. Imagine waking up each morning, looking out the window and feeling nothing. Not sadness, perhaps, but just a blank canvas. No urgent tasks, no passion projects, no one truly depending on you for anything significant. For many, retirement, while initially a dream of endless leisure, can quickly morph into a nightmare of aimlessness. The structured rhythm of work, the challenges, the sense of contribution suddenly vanish. What fills that void often? It's not joyous freedom, but a creeping sense of irrelevance, a feeling that your useful days are behind you. This isn't a small problem, it's a profound emptiness that can undermine all the good you do to fight stress and isolation. When your brain perceives there's nothing left to do, no new problems to solve, no challenges to overcome, it begins to conserve energy. And for the brain, conserving energy often means slowing down, dulling its edge, and letting its intricate machinery rust from disuse. This isn't just a philosophical concept, it's a powerful driver of brain health. Researchers at Rush University Medical Center, for example, have found that older adults with a strong sense of purpose in life were 4 times less likely to develop Alzheimer's disease than those without. Think about that. A clear why in your life can be a more potent shield against cognitive decline than many medications. Why is this so powerful? Because purpose provides cognitive stimulation, demanding your brain to plan, to problem solve, to adapt, and to learn. It gives you a reason to get out of bed, to engage with the world, and to keep that mental muscle flexed and strong. It's the ultimate antidote to apathy, that quiet killer of the mind. I want to share the story of Mrs. Clara. For 40 years, Mrs. Clara poured her heart and soul into teaching elementary school. She was vibrant, sharp, and constantly learning. When she retired at 67, she initially embraced the freedom. No more lesson plans, no more grading papers. But after a few months, the joy started to fade. Her days became a monotonous loop of morning, news, chores, and early evening television. She felt increasingly restless, almost invisible. She started forgetting little things, where she put her glasses, what she had for breakfast. Her family noticed she wasn't as quick with her witty remarks, and her once sparkling eyes seemed a little duller. She'd say, "What's the point? My useful days are over." And this profound sense of being done, of having no further contribution to make, was slowly suffocating her spirit and, in turn, her cognitive vitality. One day, her granddaughter, a bright but struggling high school student, asked Mrs. Clara for help with her English essays. Reluctantly at first, Mrs. Clara agreed. As they sat together, working through sentence structure and literary analysis, something incredible happened. Mrs. Clara's eyes lit up. She found herself drawing on decades of teaching experience, patiently explaining concepts, and watching the understanding dawn in her granddaughter's eyes. The process was challenging, stimulating, and deeply rewarding. Soon, word spread, and other students from her granddaughter's class, and even some from the local community center, started seeking her guidance. Mrs. Clara didn't just regain her sharp mind, she rekindled her zest for life. She started reading more, researching current educational trends, and even attending online workshops to refine her tutoring skills. Her memory improved dramatically, her wit returned, and that dullness in her eyes was replaced by a vibrant spark of purpose. She wasn't just killing time anymore, she was giving time, giving knowledge, and in doing so, gaining a renewed sense of self and mental agility. Mrs. Clara's story is a testament to this profound truth. Your brain thrives on purpose, on feeling needed, on the challenge of learning and contributing. So, how do we rekindle this vital flame of purpose and ensure our minds stay vibrant? Firstly, embrace the power of learning something new. This is perhaps the most direct way to reignite your brain. It doesn't have to be a degree or a complex skill. It could be learning a new language, even just a few phrases a day. It could be mastering a new musical instrument, picking up a paintbrush, or finally delving into that history period you always found fascinating. When you learn something new, your brain forms new neural connections, strengthens existing ones, and literally rewires itself for growth. This is called neuroplasticity, and it's your brain's incredible ability to adapt and change throughout your entire life. It's a use it or lose it principle. If you don't challenge your brain to learn, it will settle into comfortable routines, and that's when stagnation begins. Think about signing up for a community college course, an online tutorial, or simply dedicating 30 minutes a day to a challenging new hobby. Your brain will thank you with renewed clarity and vigor. Secondly, revisit an old passion or hobby you once loved but abandoned. Life often gets in the way of our true joys. Perhaps you used to paint, play the piano, write poetry, or tinker with electronics. Now, with more time, this is your opportunity to reclaim those parts of yourself. Dust off that old guitar, open that sketchbook, or rediscover that chemistry set. The joy of engaging in a beloved past activity not only brings immense emotional satisfaction, but also reactivates neural pathways that may have lain dormant. It brings back a sense of flow, a feeling of being completely absorbed in a meaningful activity, which is incredibly beneficial for mental well-being and sharpness. Thirdly, consider taking on a new responsibility. However small, purpose often comes from being needed. This doesn't have to be a paid job. It could be volunteering at your local library, becoming a mentor for a young person, joining a neighborhood watch, or even taking on the responsibility of caring for a plant, a garden, or a pet if feasible and desired. Building on the pet idea from the previous section, the act of tending, nurturing, or contributing provides a daily reason to engage, to plan, and to feel valuable. The feeling of being useful is a powerful psychological and cognitive boost. Fourthly, transmit your wisdom and experience. You have a lifetime of knowledge, skills, and stories. Don't let them fade away. This is your legacy. Share your experiences with your grandchildren, Or with younger people in your community, offer to teach a skill you've mastered, perhaps cooking a traditional family recipe, knitting, woodworking, or even balancing a checkbook the old-fashioned way. When you teach, you not only reinforce your own knowledge, but also engage your brain in complex processes of recall, organization, and communication. It's a powerful act of giving that simultaneously enriches your own mind and spirit. Fifthly, set small, achievable goals every day or week. Purpose doesn't have to be a grand, overarching life mission. It can be built from consistent, small acts of intention. Maybe it's learning one new word in a foreign language daily, completing a chapter of a book, calling 2 friends, or mastering a new recipe. The act of setting a goal, working towards it, and achieving it releases dopamine in your brain, the feel-good chemical that reinforces positive behaviors and motivation. These small wins accumulate, building momentum and a powerful sense of accomplishment that fuels your larger purpose. Finally, cultivate a growth mindset. Believe that you are still capable of learning, growing, and contributing no matter your age. Challenge the internal voice that says, "I'm too old for that," or "What's the point?" The brain is incredibly adaptable, and it responds to your beliefs. Embrace the idea that every day is an opportunity to learn something new, to connect in a deeper way, and to find new meaning. This mindset itself is a powerful fuel for a vibrant spirit and a sharp mind. Remember this: a life without purpose is like a ship without a rudder, drifting aimlessly. But a life infused with meaning, with the pursuit of learning, contribution, and connection, is a beacon of light, guiding your mind and spirit toward continued vitality. This is how you reclaim your intrinsic value and ensure your golden years are truly golden. We've fueled our brains with the right nutrition, understanding that what we eat directly impacts our cognitive power. But just like your muscles need more than just proper nutrition to stay strong and functional, your brain too requires exercise. It needs to be challenged, stimulated, and pushed beyond its comfort zone to truly thrive as you age. If you only ever lift light weights, your muscles will never grow stronger. Similarly, if your mind only ever engages in familiar, easy routines, it will begin to atrophy. This isn't just about avoiding decline, it's about actively enhancing your mental agility, keeping your wit sharp, and ensuring that vibrant spark in your eyes never fades. Think about your brain as a magnificent, incredibly adaptable muscle, or perhaps a vast, intricate network of pathways in a lush forest. If you always walk the same well-trodden path, that path remains clear, but the rest of the forest grows wild and untamed. The new, exciting trails, the hidden clearings, remain unexplored. This is exactly what happens with your brain. When you stop learning new things, when you avoid intellectual challenges, when your days become a predictable, comfortable loop, your brain's incredible capacity for growth, for forming new connections, begins to diminish. It's the ultimate use it or lose it scenario. This concept is called neuroplasticity, your brain's astonishing ability to reorganize itself, to form new neural connections throughout life. It's not fixed, it's dynamic, but it needs consistent stimulation to stay. That way, the danger lies in complacency. It's so easy to fall into habits after a lifetime of work and responsibilities. We watch the same TV shows, read the same kind of books, have the same conversations, and follow the same routines. While comfort is nice, stagnation is silent poison for the brain. You might notice it subtly at first, a slower recall of words, finding it harder to learn a new app on your phone, feeling mentally sluggish, or just a general sense that your mind isn't as quick as it once was. You might rationalize it by saying, "Oh, that's just age." But it's often not just age, it's a lack of targeted mental exercise. When your brain isn't given new problems to solve, new information to integrate, or new skills to master, it begins to prune away the connections it deems unnecessary. It's an efficiency mechanism, but for long-term cognitive health, it's detrimental. I want to tell you about Mr. Ken. Mr. Ken was a retired accountant, a brilliant man with numbers, but after retirement, his days became incredibly structured and predictable. He'd do his crossword puzzle, watch the news, meticulously tend his garden, and play solitaire on his computer. He felt his mind was still sharp because he could balance his checkbook to the penny. But his daughter noticed he was struggling to grasp new concepts. like using a video calling app to talk to his grandkids overseas. He'd get frustrated easily, saying, "My brain just doesn't work like that anymore." He felt a quiet frustration, a subtle erosion of his confidence in his own mental abilities. One day, his grandson challenged him to learn how to play chess online. Mr. Ken initially scoffed. "Chess too complicated for my old brain." But the grandson was persistent. Slowly, grudgingly, Mr. Ken started learning. He began watching online tutorials, studying strategies, and playing against the computer. At first, it was agonizing. He lost constantly, felt incredibly slow, but something profound began to happen. As he grappled with new openings, complex middle game strategies, and intricate endgames, his brain began to stretch in ways it hadn't for decades. He started seeing patterns more quickly. His foresight improved, and his strategic thinking sharpened. This mental workout spilled over into other areas of his life. He found himself solving daily problems with renewed clarity, recalling names and facts more easily, and even engaging in more lively, analytical conversations with his family. Mr. Ken didn't just become a decent chess player, he became mentally rejuvenated, proving that age is merely a number when it comes to the brain's capacity for growth. His mind found its gym, and it started building new muscles. So, how can you build your own mind's gym and challenge your brain to stay young and agile? Firstly, embrace lifelong learning. Beyond just reading the news. Reading is excellent, but go deeper. Pick up a book on a subject you know nothing about: astrophysics, ancient history, quantum physics, or even a different culture's literature. Enroll in an online course, many are free, on platforms like Coursera or edX, which offer everything from computer programming for beginners to world history. Learn a new language, even if it's just practicing 10 new words a day. The very act of grappling with novel information, forming new neural pathways, is a powerful cognitive stimulant. Imagine the satisfaction of understanding a complex topic you once thought was beyond your grasp. This isn't just about accumulating facts, it's about training your brain to be curious, adaptable, and a master problem solver. Secondly, learn a new skill that requires coordination and mental effort. This could be playing a musical instrument, the piano, guitar, or even a harmonica. Studies show that musicians often have better memory, problem-solving skills, and fine motor coordination, or perhaps try a complex craft like knitting, intricate patterns, woodworking, or even advanced cooking techniques that involve precise measurements and multiple steps. Learning to code, even basic programming, is an incredible brain workout, teaching logical thinking and problem solving. These activities engage multiple areas of the brain simultaneously: motor skills, memory, planning, and creativity, forging incredibly rich and robust neural networks. Feel the unique satisfaction of producing something with your own hands or creating beautiful music. These are tangible proofs of your brain's renewed vitality. Thirdly, don't just do puzzles, do challenging puzzles and switch them up. Crossword puzzles and Sudoku are good starting points, but to truly challenge your brain, you need novelty and increasing difficulty. Try logic puzzles, jigsaw puzzles with thousands of pieces, or strategy board games like chess, Go, or even complex card games that require memory and anticipation. The key is to avoid becoming so good at one type of puzzle that it becomes rote. Once a puzzle feels easy, move on to a new, more difficult one, or a different type altogether. The brain thrives on novelty and overcoming perceived limits. Fourthly, deliberately break your routines in small ways. Your brain loves efficiency, and routines are efficient. But too much efficiency leads to stagnation. Try taking a different route to the grocery store. Use your non-dominant hand for simple tasks, like brushing your teeth or opening doors. Rearrange your furniture. Cook a new recipe from a cuisine you've never tried. Visit a museum or art gallery you've never been to. These small acts of novelty force your brain to pay attention, to create new maps, and to process information in unfamiliar ways, stimulating new neural pathways and keeping your senses sharp. Fifthly, engage in active social and intellectual discussions. Don't just passively listen to the news. Discuss it critically with friends or family. Engage in debates, even friendly ones, about current events, philosophy, or anything that requires you to formulate arguments, recall facts, and consider different perspectives. This is a powerful way to exercise your working memory, your logical reasoning, and your verbal fluency, all crucial aspects of a sharp mind. Joining a debate club or a discussion group can be incredibly rewarding. Sixthly, teach what you know. The act of teaching is one of the most powerful ways to solidify your own knowledge and stimulate your brain. When you explain something to someone else, you are forced to organize your thoughts, recall information, and articulate it clearly. This process strengthens neural connections and reveals any gaps in your own understanding. Volunteer to tutor, mentor a young person, or simply share your expertise with friends and family. Your brain will benefit immensely from this. Active recall and communication. Remember this, your brain is not a static organ that simply declines with age. It is a dynamic, living entity that yearns for challenges, for novelty, and for growth. By consistently pushing its boundaries, by seeking out new experiences and knowledge, you are not just preserving your mental faculties, you are actively enhancing them, ensuring that your later years are marked not by mental decline, but by vibrant curiosity, intellectual prowess, and an ever-expanding horizon of understanding. This is how you truly master the art of aging, with grace and brilliance. And don't forget, even when you're engaging in these mentally stimulating activities, your brain is still working tirelessly behind the scenes. But what happens when the lights go out? Is your brain truly getting the restorative rest it desperately needs? Or are you inadvertently sabotaging its most crucial repair process every single night? We've now armed ourselves with the knowledge of how to actively engage and challenge our minds, transforming our brains into robust, ever-growing muscles. We've talked about the crucial role of nutrition, the power of connection, and the fire of purpose. But there's one more fundamental pillar of mental wellness that, ironically, happens when you're doing absolutely nothing: sleep. You might think sleep is just a passive state, a period of inactivity. But here's the profound truth: when you close your eyes and drift into slumber, your brain isn't resting, it's engaging in its most critical, non-negotiable work of the day. It's performing essential maintenance, cleaning house, filing away memories, and literally recharging itself for the challenges of tomorrow. And here's the harsh reality: if you're not getting enough quality sleep, you are inadvertently, yet profoundly, sabotaging your mental sharpness, eroding your memory, and dulling your spirit every single night. Imagine your brain like a bustling city that operates 24 hours a day. During the day, it's a whirlwind of activity, traffic, thoughts flowing, buildings, memories being constructed, information being processed. But what happens to a city if the sanitation workers never come out, if the roads are never repaired, if the power grid isn't maintained? Chaos, congestion, and eventual collapse. This is exactly what happens to your brain when you consistently deprive it of adequate restorative sleep. It's during deep sleep that the brain literally washes itself. A fascinating system called the glymphatic system becomes highly active during sleep, flushing out metabolic waste products and toxins that accumulate during waking hours, including amyloid beta proteins, which are implicated in Alzheimer's disease. If these toxins aren't cleared, they build up, creating neurological sludge that impairs brain function and accelerates cognitive decline. Moreover, sleep is the grand librarian of your memories. Throughout the day, your brain collects vast amounts of new information and experiences. It's during the various stages of sleep, particularly deep sleep and REM sleep, that these raw experiences are processed, consolidated, and filed away into long-term memory. It's how you learn and remember new facts, how you retain new skills, and how your emotional experiences are integrated. If you cut short your sleep, especially these crucial stages, it's like trying to put a book back on a shelf before you've even read it. The information simply doesn't stick. You might wake up feeling groggy, but more importantly, your brain hasn't had the chance to solidify what you learned or experienced the day before. This isn't just about feeling tired. It's about a direct, measurable impairment to your learning capacity, your focus, your problem-solving skills, and your emotional regulation. I vividly recall Mr. George, a cheerful 75-year-old gentleman who, despite his outwardly positive demeanor, confided in me about his struggle with memory. He was active, social, and ate well, yet he often forgot conversations, misplaced items constantly, and found himself irritable by mid-afternoon. When we delved into his daily routine, the culprit became glaringly obvious. Mr. George was a self-proclaimed night owl. He'd stay up late watching TV, sometimes until 1 or 2 a.m., then wake up early at 6 a.m. convinced he only needed a few hours of sleep. At his age, he'd even boast about it, saying, "I don't need as much sleep as these youngsters." He thought he was being efficient, but what he was doing was chronically depriving his brain of the vital hours it needed for repair and memory consolidation. He wasn't suffering from a lack of mental stimulation or a poor diet. His brain was simply starved for restorative time. He was trying to run his high-performance engine on empty, expecting it to perform flawlessly while denying it the fundamental recharge it required. His short temper, his forgetfulness, his general mental fogginess, these weren't signs of aging or incipient dementia. They were cries for help from a sleep-deprived brain. It took time and consistent effort, but once Mr. George began prioritizing his sleep, seeing it not as a luxury, but as a vital health pillar, his memory began to improve. His mood stabilized, and that inherent sharpness he once possessed returned. He went from a sleep-deprived brain suffering from induced cognitive impairment to a vibrant, engaged mind, simply by acknowledging the power of adequate rest. This is a stark reminder. Sleep is not a waste of time. It is an investment in your mental future, a nightly ritual of rejuvenation. So, how can you ensure your brain gets the deep, restorative sleep it desperately craves and deserves? Firstly, establish a consistent sleep schedule, even on weekends. Your body, and especially your brain, thrives on routine. Going to bed and waking up at roughly the same time every day, including Saturdays and Sundays, helps regulate your body's natural sleep-wake cycle, known as your circadian rhythm. When your circadian rhythm is out of sync, your body struggles to release the right hormones like melatonin, which signals sleep at the right time, making it harder to fall asleep and stay asleep. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep per night. This consistency is arguably the most powerful habit you can adopt for better sleep. Secondly, create a conducive sleep environment. Your bedroom should be a sanctuary for sleep, not a multi-purpose room. Make it dark, quiet, and cool. Even tiny pinpricks of light can disrupt melatonin production. Consider blackout curtains, an eye mask, or even taping over small indicator lights on electronics. Use earplugs or a white noise machine if your environment is noisy. Keep the temperature cool. Around 60-67 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 to 19 degrees Celsius is often ideal for sleep, as a slight drop in body temperature helps initiate sleep. Remove clutter, keep it clean, and ensure your mattress and pillows are comfortable and supportive. Your bedroom should signal to your brain, this is where we rest and restore. Thirdly, develop a relaxing pre-sleep routine. Just as you wouldn't expect a car to go from 60 miles per hour to a dead stop instantly, you can't expect your brain to switch from alert to asleep in a moment. Give your mind and body time to wind down. About an hour before bed, start your ritual. Dim the lights. Turn off all screens, TV, computer, phone. The blue light from these devices suppresses melatonin production. Take a warm bath. Read a physical book, not on a tablet. Listen to calming music, or practice gentle stretching or meditation. Avoid mentally stimulating activities like work, heated discussions, or thrilling movies right before bed. This routine signals to your body that it's time to prepare for sleep. Fourthly, be mindful of what you consume, especially in the evening. Caffeine can linger in your system for hours, disrupting sleep even if consumed in the afternoon. Avoid coffee, black tea, energy drinks, and even some sodas at least 6 to 8 hours before bed. Similarly, alcohol, while it might initially make you feel drowsy, actually disrupts the quality of your sleep, particularly deep and REM sleep, leading to fragmented sleep and less restorative rest. Avoid heavy, rich meals close to bedtime, as digestion can keep you awake. Instead, opt for a light, easily digestible snack if you must eat. Fifthly, incorporate regular physical activity into your day, but time it wisely. Regular exercise is incredibly beneficial for sleep quality, helping you fall asleep faster and experience deeper sleep. However, intense exercise too close to bedtime can be counterproductive, as it raises your body temperature and heart rate. Aim to finish vigorous workouts at least 3-4 hours before you plan to sleep. Morning or early afternoon exercise is often ideal for promoting evening sleep. Finally, don't dismiss the benefits of short, strategic naps, but avoid long ones late in the day. If you feel sleepy during the day, A short power nap of 20-30 minutes can be incredibly refreshing and boost alertness without causing sleep inertia, that groggy feeling, or interfering with nighttime sleep. However, avoid napping for extended periods, e.g., over an hour or too close to your regular bedtime, as this can confuse your body clock and make it harder to fall asleep at night. Remember, this sleep is not a luxury. It is a biological imperative for a sharp mind, stable mood, and a vibrant spirit. It is the nightly reset button for your brain. By prioritizing and optimizing your sleep, you are literally investing in the longevity and quality of your cognitive abilities, ensuring that your brain has the time and resources it needs to function at its absolute best day after day, year after year. Don't let precious sleep slip away. And now for the most powerful secret, a true spiritual weapon that transcends all the physical and mental techniques we've discussed. It's an attitude, a mindset, a simple daily practice that can profoundly reshape your brain, your outlook, and your entire experience of aging. We have journeyed together through the landscape of mental wellness as we age. We've unmasked the silent thieves like chronic stress and the desolate winds of loneliness. We've rediscovered the burning fuel of purpose, the nourishing power of brain-boosting foods, and the vital restorative magic of sleep. These are all powerful, tangible tools. But now we arrive at what I believe is the ultimate weapon, the most profound and transformative secret for not just surviving, but truly thriving in your later years. It's not a pill, not a diet, not a specific exercise. It is an attitude, a daily practice of the heart and mind that can reshape your entire reality, embracing gratitude and cultivating unwavering positivity. You might be thinking, oh, positivity, that sounds like a fluffy, feel-good concept. But please listen closely, because this is far from superficial. This is about deep, biological shifts within your brain. Think about this. Even if you manage your stress perfectly, maintain vibrant social connections, find profound purpose, eat the ideal brain food, and get perfect sleep, if your underlying mindset is one of cynicism, complaint, or a constant focus on what's wrong, you are still subtly poisoning your own well-being. It's like meticulously building a beautiful house but constantly filling it with negative, corrosive thoughts that silently chip away at its foundation. The villain here isn't just external circumstances, it's the internal dialogue, the ingrained pessimism that whispers, "It's too late for me," or "Things are only going to get worse." And this internal narrative, unchecked, can be the most destructive force of all, draining your energy, dampening your spirit, and indeed impacting your cognitive function. The science behind gratitude and positivity is profound and undeniable. When you actively practice gratitude, when you consciously focus on the good things, however small, your brain undergoes a remarkable transformation. It's not just a feeling, it's a rewiring. Studies have shown that practicing gratitude can literally alter the neural structures in your brain, increasing activity in areas associated with moral cognition, reward, and even social bonding. It stimulates the release of neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, often called the feel-good chemicals. These aren't just for happiness, they play crucial roles in learning, memory, motivation, and emotional regulation. Furthermore, gratitude is a powerful antidote to stress. Remember how we talked about cortisol, the stress hormone that shrinks your hippocampus? Well, gratitude has been shown to reduce cortisol levels. It's as if actively choosing appreciation sends a calming signal throughout your entire body, instructing it to turn off the fight or flight response. It shifts your focus from perceived threats and deficiencies to abundance and blessings, fundamentally altering your physiological and psychological state. This isn't about denying pain or ignoring challenges. It's about choosing where you direct your precious mental energy. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you're actively strengthening the neural pathways for joy, resilience, and optimism, making it easier for your brain to default to these states even in difficult times. It builds a mental muscle for happiness. Let me introduce you to Mrs. Agnes. At 92, Mrs. Agnes lived through the Great Depression, 2 world wars, and countless personal losses, including her husband and many dear friends. She battled chronic pain from arthritis and was mostly confined to her home. By all external measures, one might expect her to be bitter, melancholic, or to succumb to despair. Yet Mrs. Agnes was and remains one of the most vibrant, sharp-witted, and joy-filled individuals I have ever met. When asked her secret, she would always say, "I start and end every day by finding 3 things, however small, to be grateful for, even if it's just the warmth of my tea, the sunlight through the window, or a phone call from my niece." She didn't dwell on what she had lost or what she couldn't do. She found profound joy in the smallest blessings, the taste of a fresh berry, the sound of birdsong outside her window, the memory of a cherished laugh. Her mind was a marvel, despite her age and physical limitations. Her memory was incredibly clear, her stories vivid, and her wit quick. She wasn't immune to pain or sadness, but her unwavering practice of gratitude had literally rewired her brain. It was her spiritual weapon, an internal compass always pointing towards hope and appreciation. Her resilience wasn't a genetic lottery win, it was a cultivated skill, forged in the daily practice of finding the good, even amidst adversity. She proved that a positive outlook isn't just about feeling good. It's about actively enhancing your cognitive function, your emotional fortitude, and your overall mental well-being, even into your 10th decade. So, how do you cultivate this powerful mindset of gratitude and positivity? How do you make it an ingrained habit that fuels your mind and spirit? Every single day, firstly, start a daily gratitude journal. This is a deceptively simple yet incredibly powerful practice. Every morning or every evening before bed, take just 5 minutes to write down 3 to 5 specific things you're grateful for from that day or the day before. Don't just list generic things like my family, and be specific. I am grateful for the warm cup of coffee this morning. Or I am grateful for the kind smile from the cashier at the grocery store. Or I am grateful for the memory of my grandchild's laughter yesterday. When the act of writing forces your brain to actively search for positives, and over time, it begins to spot them naturally, even in challenging situations. Feel the warmth spreading through your chest as you recall these moments, truly savoring them. This conscious retrieval and appreciation literally strengthens the neural pathways associated with positive emotions. Secondly, practice positive reframing. Life will inevitably throw challenges your way. A missed appointment, a minor health setback, an unexpected bill. It's natural to feel frustrated or disappointed, but instead of spiraling into negativity, pause and ask yourself, what can I learn from this, or is there a hidden opportunity? Here, for example, if your plan to meet a friend falls through, instead of focusing on the disappointment, reframe it. Now I have unexpected time to read that book I wanted to, or call another friend. And this isn't about ignoring problems, it's about choosing a constructive lens through which to view them, which keeps your brain in a problem-solving rather than a despairing mode. It trains your brain to seek solutions and possibilities rather than just dwelling on setbacks. Thirdly, express your gratitude to others. Don't keep it locked inside. The act of verbally expressing thanks, writing a thank you note, or simply acknowledging someone's kindness not only makes the other person feel good, but also amplifies your own feelings of gratitude. It strengthens your social bonds, tying back to Section 2, deepens your relationships, and creates a positive feedback loop. A heartfelt thank you can uplift 2 spirits simultaneously. This simple act literally spreads positive energy and reinforces your brain's appreciation circuits. Fourthly, practice mindful appreciation throughout your day. Slow down. Don't let moments of beauty or comfort pass by unnoticed. When you're drinking your morning tea, truly taste it. Feel the warmth of the cup in your hands. Smell its aroma. When you're walking outside, look up at the sky. Notice the colors of the leaves. Listen to the sounds of nature. When you're eating a meal, savor each bite. These acts of mindful appreciation bring you into the present moment, anchoring you in reality and allowing you to consciously register the small, everyday blessings that often get overshadowed by worries or distractions. This deliberate focus enhances your sensory experience and deepens your connection to the world around you, stimulating various parts of your brain in a positive way. Fifthly, curate your environment and your influences. Just as certain foods are poisons, certain types of media, conversations, or even people can be toxic to your spirit. Minimize exposure to constant negativity, whether it's news overload, gossip, or cynical friends who drain your energy. Instead, seek out uplifting books, inspiring podcasts, positive communities, and people who radiate optimism and joy. Your brain is highly susceptible to its environment. Surround yourself with positivity, and your mind will naturally begin to reflect it. Finally, practice self-compassion and gratitude for yourself. Often, we are our own harshest critics. Begin to appreciate your own resilience, your wisdom, your unique journey. Acknowledge your strengths, your efforts, and the progress you've made. Forgive yourself for imperfections, just as you would offer kindness to a loved one. Extend that same kindness and appreciation to yourself. This inner self-gratitude builds a strong foundation of self-worth and inner peace, which is absolutely essential for sustained mental wellness and a vibrant spirit. Remember, this cultivating gratitude and positivity is not about ignoring life's difficulties. It's about giving your mind the power to see beyond them, to find light even in the shadows, and to draw strength from every blessing. It's an active choice, a daily discipline that will profoundly reshape your brain, elevate your spirit, and ensure that your golden years are truly filled with a joyful, resilient, and brilliantly sharp mind. This is the ultimate way to live a life rich in meaning and vibrant vitality. You have been given the blueprint. You have the knowledge. The power is now in your hands. Are you ready to rewrite your aging story? To make your later years not a journey of decline, but a magnificent ascent into a vibrant, purposeful, and profoundly joyful life. We've reached the end of our journey, but truly, it's just the beginning of yours. Together, we've peeled back the layers of misconception surrounding aging and mental well-being. We've dared to challenge the quiet lie that mental decline is an inevitable companion of our golden years. You now understand that a sharp mind and a vibrant spirit are not a matter of luck or genetic destiny, but a powerful, achievable outcome of conscious choices and consistent action. We started by confronting the silent thief of chronic stress, learning how its insidious presence can literally shrink the memory centers of your brain. And we armed you with the simple yet powerful antidotes of deep breathing, nature, and mindful meditation. Then we shined a light on loneliness, the brain killer, and explored how vital human connection, whether through initiating conversations, joining groups, volunteering, or embracing intergenerational bonds, is the life-giving water that nourishes your mind's social network. We then reignited the fuel of purpose, showing how finding meaning in learning, contributing, or pursuing new passions can transform your spirit and keep your cognitive engine running strong. We uncovered the brain food secret, distinguishing between the vital nutrients that supercharge your intellect and the silent poisons that erode it, guiding you towards a Mediterranean-inspired path of vibrant nourishment. We transformed your mind into a gym, demonstrating how challenging yourself with new skills, puzzles, and breaking routines fosters neuroplasticity, keeping your mental muscles agile and robust. We dove into the restorative power of sleep, revealing how this nightly ritual of deep rest is your brain's ultimate repair and memory consolidation process, a non-negotiable for sustained clarity. And finally, we embrace the ultimate fuel for the spirit, gratitude and unwavering positivity, a profound mindset shift that can literally rewire your brain for joy, resilience, and an unbreakable sense of well-being. Every single one of these elements is a thread in the magnificent tapestry of your mental wellness. And the most empowering truth is this: you hold the needle and thread. You have the knowledge, the tools, and the inherent capacity within you to weave a future filled with clarity, purpose, and boundless joy. You are not a passive observer in your own aging story. You are the author, the director, the hero of your own remarkable journey. So, where do you begin? Don't feel overwhelmed by all 7 secrets. Choose just one. Perhaps it's committing to 5 minutes of deep breathing today, or reaching out to one person you haven't spoken to in a while. Maybe it's replacing one sugary drink with a glass of water, or simply spending 15 minutes trying to learn something new online. Even the smallest step, taken consistently, can create a ripple effect that transforms your entire mental landscape. Remember, this age is just a number, but a sharp mind and a vibrant spirit are the legacy you leave for yourself and for those you love. This is not merely about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years. It's about living with passion, with purpose, with peace, and with a mind that remains as bright and curious as it ever was. You deserve a life of profound mental wellness, a life where every morning brings renewed purpose and every evening brings peaceful rest. Take control of your narrative. Embrace these truths. Your radiant future is waiting.